Well, if it isn't for you guys again. My name is Dylan Wolf from Project Allure. This is episode 6 of our whiteboard education series. In this video, we have a banger, okay? We have a banger in store for you today. I want you guys to pay close attention to everything I am saying in this video. If you truly want to become the best version of yourself, you want to become the best man possible who doesn't get cheated on, doesn't get left, gets tons of women, listen up, buddy. This video is for you, okay? So in this banger of a video, episode 6, we have women are only loyal to their emotions, not you, the man. Okay? Now, this is a brutal realization most men don't even come to in their entire existence. Okay? So you have a choice right now to come to this realization, right? Stare at your ceiling while you're going to sleep tonight. But understand this is reality. And if you don't adapt to reality in the most brutal dating market in modern history, you're going to get left behind. You're going to see your friends actually get women, or people who you knew get lots of girls and have a successful life and maximize these things I'm going to talk to you about, while you sit there sulking, okay, and blaming everything else on your actual reality when you're the only one who's in control of that, okay? So listen up. Look at your ceiling tonight while you're going to sleep, right? Look at it and really take all of the information that I'm going to discuss to you in and really compartmentalize it into your new being as a man. Who you are begins now. With that being said, let's get started. Step 1. So we need to understand that women do not operate with morality in mind when it comes to dating, okay? So essentially what this means is women do not have morals when it comes to dating certain men. They're going to bend and twist to the guy that they like most, the guy that gives them the most amount of emotional fluctuation possible. Now, we're going to give you plenty of examples as to why this is true. But if you're a woman watching this, do not cope and understand your own psychology so you can set yourself apart from other women, right? With that being said, though, as a man, if you don't operate with this logic, you're going to get left behind, okay? So as brutal as this may sound, we need to understand, like I said, everything is based on feeling. How do they truly feel? How does this guy make them actually feel, right? So that emotional fluctuation can go all different types of ways. There's a rising action, a climax, falling out, but then they end up happily ever after, right? So it's kind of like a movie, like I've mentioned in previous videos. Women want their love life to be like that of a movie, right? So it's like a good movie. She doesn't know what's going to happen next. Is the movie good if you know exactly what's going to happen? Absolutely not. You get bored of that movie. You get disengaged with that movie. So why are you guys making your actions so predictable with women? If she asks you to do something and you beckon to her call immediately every single time, if you give her flowers every day or every single week, guess what? She gets used to that type of behavior. And what happens over time? She gets bored of that behavior. She starts to look elsewhere. She starts to get complacent. She starts to take that behavior for granted because you're doing it so frequently. And they're only going to base their connection to you off of how they're being made feel in the moment. Okay? This is why women will leave great guys, because they're not stimulating that amount of emotional fluctuation like they probably did in the beginning. Or, to the extent that now they're doing the same repetitive actions and they're not evolving their love life as it goes. And now it's the same thing that she's seen for 5 years. And she's like, well, I'm kind of bored. Well, he's starting to, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't feel the same way. I don't know. He doesn't hit the same as he used to. Like, these girls will do that to the best guys who think they're doing everything right. And I don't blame you guys. It's hard to know what's right and wrong with women. It's hard. But understand that there is a right and wrong, and the right and wrong is right in front of you right now. So understand that it's based on emotion and feeling. So that means you can't take what they say to you seriously. You can only base actions. Okay? And this will help you sleep at night so that when you're looking at that ceiling tonight, you'll actually be able to go to bed knowing that you actually have the right answer in mind. Okay? So just knowing that everything is based off of feeling and emotion, you're going to be able to disengage and not get your emotions so invested in this woman. Instead, you can lead by example, and this woman is a byproduct of your life that you've created and built. Okay? So this is exactly why so many women biologically like bad boys. Key word here, biologically. Down to the science, there's an exact reason as to why women like bad boys. Okay? It's not just women are stupid thing. No, there is actual science that backs this up, right? And me being as curious as I was going through these different processes and actually initially learning this stuff, I am a very logically, driven person when it comes to understanding things, okay? So understand that I saw these trends, right? I acted in certain ways to test these things. And I not only proved this through action and experience, but I did the research to actually find the science that biologically backs this up, okay? So just to give you some famous examples, right? We're going to start off with Chris Brown, most infamous example of something like this. There are literally hordes of women that will wait outside of Chris Brown's concerts or venues or different events that he holds. They will pay thousands of dollars just to get pictures with him, right? And I get it. He's a celebrity, he has lots of different hits. He's done all different types of things. But that doesn't discredit the things that he has done to women on multiple different occasions, not just with Rihanna. Okay? So the point I'm trying to make here is women do not operate from morality. It's impossible for this to be true given so many examples time and time again. Like, look at the movie 50 Shades of Grey. There's all these different abusive things that are in mind, right? The number one thing that is a woman's biggest turn on, believe it or not, guys, you can look this up for yourself. The biggest kink is an SA kink. And when I found that out, I was like, bro, what? These women, they talk so much about this stuff, right? They talk so much about how they're scared to be around men. They're scared to be around guys like this. But their biggest kink is being SA'd or being treated as if they were SA'd consensually in the bedroom, right? It is mind-boggling, and that's just one of them. The top 10 list that I read was literally insane. It's all, diminishing, demoralizing things that are done to women, right? So understand, women will tell you one thing, but their actions are going to tell you the exact opposite, okay? They don't operate from morality, okay? So that's not what's going to stimulate the most amount of emotional fluctuation. The best possible, orgasm, for example, I don't know if I'm going to get banned for that, but the best possible orgasm, like, for example, a girl can orgasm, right, better with less oxygen going to her brain. This is a scientific fact. That's why she likes being choked, okay? So, there are all these things that make no sense, guys, in the grand scheme of actually good and bad things that are in this world. Like, a woman's driving force and factor for what she gets off on and what she actually looks for biologically is not ever what she's telling you. So stop listening to her, and like I said, listen to her actions, okay? So we have Chris Brown, right? Elvis, another one, he dated plenty of underage women. He had multiple different affairs. But guess what? Women do not care about that stuff. If you are of high enough status, if you have enough money, if you look good enough, they're going to justify reasons as to why it's okay to be with this guy because of X reason, no matter what he does. Like, you would be so surprised at what you can get away with the better you look. The better you look, it is mind-boggling, and that's the point. Guys like Chris Brown abusing women, they're still showing up left and right at his doorstep, beckoning to his call, kissing his feet, willing to do anything to get his attention, right? And it just goes to show you, like, the reality of everything in life is so ass backwards, right? Luigi Mangione, literally a convicted, like, killer. He killed somebody. Whether or not you agree with the morals of why he did it, it doesn't matter. He had the gripes enough to put him in a position to where he killed somebody, right? And girls all over the internet are coming to his defense. But guess what? If he was ugly, would they do that? Would this even be a nationwide thing if he didn't look good? No, it wouldn't. If he was ugly, not a single person would give a shit. It is brutal. It is brutal. Like, how much your looks impact things, how much your status impacts things, how much your money impacts things. If you are a man, you are based purely on what you can provide to other people in life. And guess what? If you look good, you can potentially provide good-looking children to a woman. This is a biological thing that she's looking for. If you look better, you're more likely to get hired at jobs. If you look better, on average, you make more money. So all of these metrics that I'm talking about are so critical for you to actually maximize in your day-to-day life. And if you don't think you can, you're coping, because you can. I've done all these things. I used to be a loser, a social outcast. I got no girls at all. And from that point, I started ascending. I started working on these things. I was sick of being bullied. I was sick of being alone. And guess what? It worked. Like, I can be the life of the party in tons of different scenarios that I'm in. I attract so many different people. I've been with so many different women. I've acquired the best looking women in all of my areas. And I'm not just saying that to boast. I'm showing you guys that it is possible to do everything I'm saying. You just have to take accountability with your life, okay? Because if these guys can get away with murder, literally, and be fine just for looking better, you can too, okay? But understand, none of this is going to work if you don't maximize who you are as a man, okay? Next up, almost every rapper. Literally, how come women want to complain about all the unjust things that are done to them on the day-to-day basis or whatever, but these are the same girls shaking their ass to rap music, which completely diminishes and demoralizes women. It's literally all about, cracking bitches and then leaving them to the streets. Like, what are we doing? We need to wake up and realize that this is actually how women are, okay? They don't operate for morality when it comes to dating. Billy from Stranger Things, he literally abused his little sister and multiple women. Like, what are we doing? This guy was the most popular guy on the internet when his season was really popular and airing, right? Like, literally, it's insane for anyone to disagree with what I'm saying. Like, you literally have to be a moron to disagree with this. You need to wake up and understand this is what reality actually is, okay? Jeremy Meeks, he literally assaulted a child. He assaulted a child. And guess what? His mugshot leaked, and women paid his bond to get out, and then he got a multi-million-dollar modeling contract. He then leaves his wife and kid that he already had, and then has this entire new life that he created just because he looked better. And that's one of the most brutal cases we've ever seen. But, like, bro, Like, you can get away with anything if you look good, if you have status, if you have money. Like, look at the elites, dude. They do all types of crazy stuff all the time, but they get away with it because they have connections, money, status, and some of them look great, right? It's all about maximizing those things in your life. And my friend, your life will change. Your quality of life will change. 90% of your problems will simply go away just by being in good shape and making money. Okay, looking good, getting in good shape, making money, having that financial burden off of your back. Things will change and a lot of your problems will go away. Depression gets lifted when you're not idle. Okay? Lastly, one of the most brutal ones, and you could argue that this is not as popular, but guess what? I've seen tons of different women be like, low key, Jeffrey Dahmer is kind of hot. Like, I've seen this when his documentary was super popular. This was a big topic that was going on the internet. I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but I certainly did. And Jeffrey Dahmer ain't even that good looking, which is the crazy part. Like, he is a okay looking guy, but the dark triad traits are really what were pushing his emotional fluctuation with these women, right? And his demeanor and his unpredictable nature, right? So just understand that nice guys finish last, and I was a nice guy, right? I still am a nice guy, and I try to be a good person to help people. But in terms of, like, putting my foot down, doing what women ask of me, I don't do that anymore. I only will go based off of their actions and what they're meeting me at, right? And you can have a really good, successful relationship with a wonderful woman who is going to be there for you. She's not going to try and change who you are and do all these things to you, manipulate you. But it takes a lot of self work as a man to get to that point. In the era we live in, where we live in the digital age, FOMO is terrible, right? Fear of missing out. And if girls have been with multiple guys in the past, it's a lot harder for them to pair bond with you. So you have to get really good at these things I'm talking about to find a good woman. But there are good women out there. Like, we live on a planet with like 8 billion people. You'll be able to find somebody, my friend. You just have to maximize yourself, right? So now that we have some of these examples, and also understand these are off the dome, okay? Like, I just thought of these, right? There's literally hundreds of thousands of examples of successful guys getting away with whatever, right? Essays, actual essays, right? And it just being swept under the rug. Like, lots of guys like Brad Pitt's got things going on, like all these different people who are completely popular. They have the status, the money to put things under the rug. Okay. So if you maximize who you are, you can start to get away with a lot more. And it's not to get away with stuff, but understand your quality of life just gets a whole lot better. Okay. Moving on to step 2. So, why are women attracted to these traits? Reason 1, these types of men are oftentimes more unpredictable with their actions, which creates more emotional fluctuation. Okay, so going back to that, we understand the emotional fluctuation chart already. Reason 2, a woman's dream is to take the big, bad, scary guy and tame him into her soft boyfriend. Okay, that alone, you guys need to take that in, like, for like the next 30 seconds. I'll stand here for a second. So the reason why this is so important, right, is literally look at every example, right, of like any woman who is in an abusive relationship and chooses to stay. Oh, it's not so easy. It really is. Like, you can get up and walk away and tell someone about it, and that issue is solved. Like, they literally say this as an excuse, and I understand, to an extent, you got to be a little bit stronger, and it can be hard for women to initially do this. But some of these women stick around for like multiple years on end, some of them for like decades, right? And it's like, dude, like you like that shit. You like the loser guy that you're with because the entire time what's happening is one, her emotional fluctuation is so high from all the events that are taking place. But like I said, a woman's dream is to take the big bad scary guy or the guy with these dark triad different traits and tame him into her soft boyfriend. So women will hold on to the idea of I can change him, I can fix him, I can help him, right? And in reality, this is just not going to happen, right? It never does, but that's what keeps them attracted. It's the chase. It's the constant chase of I think I can. I think I should be able to change this guy. Oh, but I've seen him when he is sweet and he's so amazing to me. But then he does XYZ to me later, He beats me up. Like, it's like, dude, there is no moral logic behind any of those decisions that are being made, right? Everything I just expressed and described to you is all based on emotion and how she is being made feel, right? So how she feels is the only thing that actually matters in a relationship with a woman, okay? So now that we understand step 2, we can actually get an example of this. There is literally a Disney movie created for this. It's called Beauty and the Beast. Huh. Wow, what a good example to actually pull out of my ass, right? Like, this movie was created with reason to exactly what I'm saying in mind. So if you didn't believe me now, you should, because Beauty and the Beast is exactly what I just described. If you've ever seen Beauty and the Beast, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's an extremely famous movie. Women and girls growing up all around the world love this movie, right? This is one of the most popular Disney movies for girls. And it's because it follows this exact philosophy, okay? So understand this stuff, because if you can, like, dude, you are going to put yourself not even in the 1% of men, but the 0.00001% of men, okay? Now that we understand step 2, step 1, we can finally move on to step 3, okay? So now that we understand this entire process, we understand exactly what is supposed to be done here, and how women actually work. Where is everything that they do in dating actually based off of? How do we actually emulate these behaviors whilst maintaining who we are and not looking performative? Okay? So understand, by me telling you this, I'm not asking you to change who you are. I'm not asking you to be somebody that you're not. What I am telling you is exactly what women are truly looking for at their core, and also how you can actually emulate these behaviors while maintaining who you truly are as a man, which is all ultimately going to make you unique to you, right? And no one person is going to be exactly the same. Like the example of the guys over here, they're all completely different, and that's one of the most beautiful things in life, is that you are completely unique to anyone who has ever existed. And that's like so neat to me. That's one of the most amazing things that I think about when I'm down on myself and who I am. Like, I'm like, Dylan, you are truly one of one. And not to sound cringe, but you guys are all one of one, right? We're all one of one. We're all completely unique. So you have a chance to make a completely unique impact on the world, right? So understand that, understand these behaviors. And with that in mind, we can go over to part 1. So it's something that I vaguely have crossed paths with in other videos before, but you can increase emotional fluctuation just by not caring and operating only on your time and never hers, okay? So what happens is women are going to shit test you and try and convolute their control and what they want to do with the situation and make it theirs, right? Everything is a power game with women in life. The reason why feminism was even created was a power trip, okay? It's trying to gain power back from men. okay? Because they know that men are completely in control, right? This is exactly why, now that we have feminism in place for all these years, and this isn't just to have a feminism debate, okay? But I'm giving you a prime example of this. Feminism has been around for how many years now, right? And we still have the same number, or literally relatively the same percentage of men working all these tough jobs, right? Because no women actually wants to do the work of a man. They just want the power and the control of doing so and being able to say so, right? So if you are operating on her time, you're cooked. Simply, if she leads, she leaves. She is going to put you in the category of a placeholder boyfriend and find a man who is going to lead her. She's going to be more emotionally fluctuated and attracted to the guy who is willing to lead her. She's going to start to envision what a potential life could be with a guy who she sees or talks to in passing at her job, out and about, at the gym, wherever it is. It doesn't matter. She's going to start to picture a life with a guy like this who is actually willing to lead her and showing her these signs biologically. Okay? So you never operating on her time and you purely operating on yours, you not doing it if it's not within your time frame is going to surround yourself with the highest interest level girl for you, which is exactly what you need and want in a relationship, because it's going to limit the probability of a girl ever wanting to leave you, wanting to cheat on you, wanting to be promiscuous, and not serving you to the most potential that she can, right? Like, guys have no problem with loyalty in reality on average when they truly find a woman that cares and loves them, right? And their goal is to actually build a family and everything like that. I think that men will not necessarily have a problem being loyal to a woman like that, or at least having a good relationship. And I think the main reason why men are disloyal is because of that uncertainty with all these promiscuous women. So if you find a woman who has the highest interest level in you, who adheres to your timing, right, and what you want to do with your life, she's okay with operating on your time. This is going to be such a more far advantageous position for you to be in. Okay. So, and then, like I said, just not caring about the end result. Stop acting out of scarcity with women. Okay. And you're going to see a lot more success. Now, this is the basic cookie cutter part one, answer, right? That's not really why you guys came here. You guys came here for the secret sauce, baby. That secret sauce, okay? So you need to talk with your eyes, okay? With women, everything is going to be a mental game. This is the only way that women can win in life against men, right? Is through manipulation, through tactics. And once you get onto their playing field with this, master not caring, but also understanding the language of women and how they operate, how they think, you can use this language and you're going to set yourself apart so far, because so many men don't even know how to talk with their eyes, okay? And as cringe or corny as this sounds, it is so, so, so effective if you do this properly, okay? This is my number one, best hands down attraction, seduction secret, okay? If you are saying something verbally like I am now to you, but I'm looking at her while I'm saying this, sometimes I will say a phrase that has a double meaning behind it. And girls will get so mentally stimulated by this because they know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So you need to say phrases in combos that have double meanings, okay? So just get creative when you're talking to a girl, have really good consistent eye contact, and literally when you're talking to a girl, you should be thinking in your head while you're looking at her. This is almost like telekinesis, right? I'm looking at a woman and I'm like, ooh, I know exactly how I would do it to you, right? I'm thinking these dirty thoughts. I know it's bad. I know it sounds bad, but it's like I'm looking at her in the way that I'm thinking, right? And she can feel that energy, okay? So if you, mind you, there is a big preface with this. If you are chopped, my guy, don't do the don't do this. Okay, sorry. I'm malfunctioning. I'm literally running off of 2 hours of sleep and no food, but we're freaking here, baby. Okay. But, anyways, if you are chopped, okay, if you are like literally ugly, it's going to be like the one meme where it's essay harassment versus flirting, like that meme. Like, this stuff only works if you look good, okay? You can't actually operate and maximize a woman's emotional fluctuation to begin with if you're chopped, right? So understand, like, before we master this language of women, you got to look good, bro. You got to be in shape. Like, you cannot be fat or lazy or anything like that, because what this visually shows a woman is that you have bad habits, right? You're not good at taking care of yourself. So how could you take care of her, right? And your kids are going to be cooked. They're going to be just as chopped as you because you're chopped, right? They need to have good visual representation of what it would be like for them to procreate with you, okay? So if you're chopped, none of this shit's gonna work. So you need to get your ass in the gym. You need to start fucking mewing. You need to start like doing peptides. Do whatever it takes. If you get your blood work done, if you have like 100 nanograms per deciliter testosterone, you need to get on test. Like, I'm advocating for those things. If you are in that rough of a state, get your diet right, work out better, learn the language of women still, so that by the time you get into these scenarios, you can get reps up, you can practice with women. But yeah, this shit works, okay? The eye contact, the talking with your eyes, the understanding all that stuff is extremely potent. It's extremely effective. It literally, I go into a situation talking to a woman 100% knowing that I can bag her. Like 100%. I know that sounds arrogant or cocky, but it's like, dude, if you actually understand it to a science, you've practiced it, you have evidence and proof, and there's nothing wrong with you, then you can freaking slay, dude. You can get whatever you want with these girls because they want the similar thing as what you would want, right? You want a relationship. They want a relationship. They want to be emotionally stimulated, right? So no one wants to be alone at the end of the day. And if they're single, dude, it's easy, right? So you got to be a smooth operator. God damn, my voice is cooked. But yeah, combine all these things. Make sure you look good first, because they're not even going to look at you if you're not within the top 5% of men anyways. So stop being average or below average and get your ass in the gym. And you got to inchworm your way to the finish. What I mean by this is, like, when I'm looking at a girl, you want to be able to show signs that you're clearly interested with your eyes, whilst also being respectful, right? Like, think of it like this. She knows probably after you give her that initial look that you're trying to hit, or you're trying to actually, you're interested in her, right? So with that in mind, what you need to consider here is that, okay, I can push the bounds up a little bit, but I need to inchworm my way to the finish line, right? You don't want to just freaking full send it immediately and like foot on the gas pedal, right? Like, oh, like, what size are your boobs? Like, you don't want to do something like drastic, right? You want to inchworm, do it subtly, give her little hints here and there that you're interested and that it could be fun, right? Have multiple combos at once, right? So with that in mind, that's going to pretty much wrap up the video, okay? So understanding that women are only loyal to their emotions is going to help set you guys so far apart from most men when it comes to dating and understanding the language of women, okay? So my name is Dylan Wolf with Project Allure. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And join our free school community if you haven't. We literally are building every single day. We're up to, I think, like 57 members now, and we started recently. So if you're a guy who wants to learn more about understanding the language of women to get more dates, click the link in our description. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.